Morning, everyone. Sorry about being late again. We had some technical difficulties again, so we'll get the meeting going. It's 9:20. You want to do a roll call, please?
Sure. District 1. District 1. District 2. District 2. District 3 is here. Secretary Treasurer.
I'm here.
We have a quorum. I know Kathy's on her way, and Ray's gonna be hopping on here on the call here, probably in a few minutes. So we'll have all 5 of us. Will be on in session here. So be good. Approval and the review and approval of the agenda. Anybody have anything to add to this?
I do. I'd like to put an addition on here about the communities, powwows like Rice Lake, Netawash, and Pine Point. They were that 25,000. Was that budgeted for them already? I would like to know if they could utilize some of that money to do some work at their powwow grounds, do some painting, whatever is needed.
Yeah, that'll be something when we call Scott in. That'd be a good update to get from Scott on that. I know we've budgeted, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much we pull back from it because it's all general fund dollars.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, okay. I know that there was some work done at Rice Lake too, so. All right, Al, do you have any additions?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, motion to approval of the agenda then.
Move.
Moved by Umsey, second.
Second.
Second by Allen, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is review approval meeting minutes of 8/6/20.
Mr. Chairman, on page 4 of 10, on the talks about Alan thank IHS for the hard work they've done and all that, and it talks about commented on the budget and ROI for the 20 years at 6.5 million for 130 million. I think my comment was specific, like Alan asked for clarity around the ROI. I didn't make the statement that would be the actual ROI on that second vote.
You see that, Alicia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. know I got some calls too about the wild race. Liz, this year, all you use just your tribal ID, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you let everyone, you just need your tribal ID to come race over here, so.
Oh, yeah, and Mr. Chair, I think, Mike LaRock had an update on, for elders that they're just gonna be mailing their, harvest permits and all that for the year. They're gonna mail them directly to them, he was saying, so I don't know if you can, put something out there or not.
All right. What to do, talk to, Roman or someone to get information out there to the elders, so.
I'll move to approve, Mr. Chair.
All right, a motion by Alan to approve the meeting minutes with changes on 8/20, or no, I'm sorry, 8/6 of 20. Motion by Alan, second by Umsey, all in favor?
All right.
Did you say aye?
Yeah.
Okay, motion carries. Very good. Next up is calendar review.
Mr. Chairman, I did get a call from, Tina Smith, Senator Smith's staff. She might be, coming to White Earth at the end of the month. I know she's been going around to some of the tribes, and I was hoping Liz could contact Raven Gibbs and kind of narrow down a date when she's actually thinking about coming.
Yeah, on the 28th too, guys, I know we have the monthly meeting. We might have to move it up a couple days because of MIAC's being held that day, so maybe I'll have the meeting on the 26th or something, so if that works for everyone, 26th or 27th. 26th would
You
be,
want the 20,
the 26th would work best though.
do you want the notice for the 26th?
Yeah,
Mike?
that'd be good. Is that good with you,
Yeah.
26th, okay.
For a regular meeting?
Yeah, for the monthly meeting. A regular meeting now.
And yes, Alan, I'll make contact with Raven.
Anything else on it? I know we got some more, consultations coming up. I know Liz is kind of putting those together. I know we met with the Department of Ag and also DOC, so we had some really good conversations on Teams and WebEx, so that went really good.
Yeah, I'm working on, the Department of Revenue is trying to set up a
Good.
consultation, and Public Utilities Commission.
Oh, that's Commerce. That'd be,
We need to get that Public Utilities Commission going.
yeah, Kelly, Steve Kelly, yeah. Okay.
The Public Utilities one, though, I just actually got notification this morning from this Charlie that right now they're putting those on hold for the next week and a half, so.
Okay.
But we'll see if we can get the IRS one in.
All right. Anything else to add to the calendars, guys? You good?
I just, well, we're gonna be meeting on, 24th with the community councils, Mr. Chair.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
still on?
It is.
Yes.
I think, not sure how many have,
Nadawash isn't coming. They want to come on like the regular or
they want to be put on the agenda.
they want to be put on the agenda.
For the next monthly meeting, 26th.
Yes, okay.
Okay, well, that'd be
That's
good. I mean,
fine.
also, they wanna come. That's their time slot, you
Yeah.
know, for all community councils is, you know, we give that slot for them to express, you know, what's happening in their community, so be good. All right, next up I got is Virginia Anderson and Dennis Jackson for the housing. Dan, you still on there? Virginia? He was just on it.
Mhm.
He must get kicked out. Did you text him?
Dennis? I don't have his cell phone, I gotta get it.
Did you get kicked out of that call? No, you guys must be on mute. Yeah, call back in, yeah, okay.
This was one signature request that we approved. How do we do it, right? How did-
Yeah, there were some questions on that signatory request, and did they send that updated application? There was something with their application where they were supposed to pick like yes or no, but they picked down the middle, and so the application looked kind of funky. Because me, I talked with you last week.
We're back on, can you hear us?
Yeah, all right, then you're
Go
up.
ahead.
The forms are required by HUD. The request release of funds and certification needs to be signed by Mr. Chairman as well as Dennis. That is so they can release our HUD CARES money into ELOC so we can draw it down, start the work. The environmental review, the type of stuff we're doing with this grant, we're not going to be doing earth moving. We're not doing anything on any of the sites where there's 4 or more structures that are going on to them. That's why they're excluded, their categories are excluded in section 58.5. And that form is HUD form, and in the system, it wouldn't allow us to put the X in the box. So we redid it and resubmitted it, and we can put in the X's in the 3 boxes that requires a no response. And that also requires Dennis and the chairman's signature to be to go into HUD.
Yeah, because,
Actually, I don't think. Go ahead.
well, because when I looked at it, there was like the X's were in the middle there, so there was no box in the middle, so we just like, that was the whole confusing part. We delayed this, so I guess, that's what we asked you to come on for. And but I appreciate you guys, so be good.
I have a question.
Yes.
The Healthy Homes production grant program for tribal housing. We have this application almost ready to go into HUD system. The resolution signatory request is with Aisha. I just want to clarify and make sure that Ben department's not applying for the same grant. Does anyone know?
Which grant is that, Virginia?
It's the Healthy Homes Production Grant Program in tribal housing.
Okay, if you guys have it all ready to go, I mean, put in for it.
Yeah, all I need is, from you guys, is the resolution, and I'll be able to, enter this grant application into the HUD system starting tomorrow morning. We are applying for $750,000 to do, to alleviate and remove health and safety hazards in homes where there's elders and children,
Be good.
including lead-based ink.
Okay.
Is that all in Mike?
Pardon?
Is that all the questions you guys had on the EA form?
Is any other council, Al, do you have any questions for housing? All right, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate the update, and those will get approved today, so. Be good.
Thank you.
Hey,
You want to do it now? Is it ready? Is that the new one?
I have both of them. Well, it's not the new one, it's the same one that Mia talked with Ronnie about. But she did bring it yesterday, is the new one.
Is there two in here, or this one?
That's just one.
Okay, this is for this,
That's for
they're applying for $750,000 to, no, I'm just looking at the front.
otherwise there's,
No, it's a. Just want to check your boxes and make sure that they send them. Well, they're applying for the Healthy Homes grant of $750,000.
Yeah, I sent Ben a text to see if they're applying for that too.
Well, they said they need a resolution on it first.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they have theirs together. I haven't seen anything from Ben.
So we get a motion for this, guys, for the apply for the $750,000?
Motion.
Motion by Umsey, second.
Second.
Second by Kathy, all in favor? Motion carries. Next one up is for, Dennis Jackson, Windows Housing, this please touch HUD form, environmental review. Well, this is it from the head to box, is that? Okay. All right, good. It is. So motion to approve the attached HUD form for environmental review for activity project that is exempt or category excluded, non-subject to section 58.5 HUD form dash 7015 dash 2 or 15 request for release of funds for clarification. Motion for this?
Well, we approved this last week, it just needed to be redone, didn't it?
Did we approve this last week?
It says tables 8/6/20 on the top there.
Yeah, I think we just tabled it.
We didn't.
It was all-
We didn't,
You
we
just
didn't-
needed to have some boxes marked properly, and then
Yep.
someone sign it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I called you about.
Motion up?
Yeah.
Motion by Umsey, second by? Second by Kathy, all in favor?
Right.
Motion carries. Big red. I don't know, you want me to sign it on here? Do I send it one of these boxes?
Martha, are you on?
I am.
Okay.
Alicia. All right, Martha, you're up next.
So I asked Martha to come back because we did a signatory request and resolution last week, and we thought it was a software update, but it's actually they want to create a new department. So I wanted Martha to come in and clarify.
All right.
So Go ahead, Martha.
Okay, so, okay, the Behavioral Health Information Management Department is, it's like a reassurance is what it is, especially with everything that has happened with the audit, the payback, and everything. There's no checks and balances in that department, in the whole division, to be able to give that quality assurance checks and balances. So the Behavioral Health Information Management part of it, it would ensure that, you know, that the policies are being conducted and audits are being conducted on a regular basis. So there's not like mistakes, like how they have been mistakes in the past. So the department that we would hope to get would conduct regulatory compliance audits among program services, delivery encounters with multiple medical records platforms. So some of the core functions of this department is maintaining, analyzing data collection, billing, protecting digital and traditional medical information, while protecting patient information privacy and security. I also have Danny on the line with me, so if you guys have questions or need more information, but I believe it was all in that packet that we submitted.
So we already approved that resolution that's attached in that packet, but they just want to make sure that you understand that this is an actual department, not a software. You know what I mean?
Well, usually that's handled by the quality assurance person, isn't it?
Martha?
Well, I mean, you have a $2 million take back for mental health, and the quality assurance people weren't doing it. And then the same sense, I'll have Jen talk about that part of it. So when we first came into this division in our positions, there were billing positions created as well as one quality assurance position. There was no actual formal structure of billing quality assurance. There was just job descriptions. There was no policies and procedures on how to do anything. And this is just providing structure and an actual formal union of a department. So with that being said, we have HIPAA that we have to abide by. So then this would train in our current staff with billing and QA and change them into a whole structure of health information management, which is release of information, that HIPAA, privacy, security, and confidentiality of medical records, release of information. This will also provide data collection, analyzing data to help with our grant reporting and collect all of that, even for like census when they ask us for our data to get grants and everything else. The best thing about a health information management system as well is has that financial accountability to protect tribal assets with accurate and complete reporting and documentation standards for third-party and financial reports. And kind of like Martha said, we have identified a need to provide a formal structure for accountability, assurance, and oversight. A well-defined and structured HIM program provides a strong level of protection for compliance with state and federal laws. It fulfills federal, tribal, and state regulatory and accreditation requirements. So basically, it's the catch-22. We just really, with this HIM department, it would really prevent anything from what has happened in the past to happen again.
So Martha, with the billing department, is it gonna grow, or is it gonna get shrink, or is it gonna be more IT, or?
No. So here's the thing, there is no billing department identified. There's billers, some were trained in, some are experienced. So with that being said, forming an actual department, we will get them trained in, we'll get them higher knowledge of the HIPAA part, the release of information. The IT part is only to help with the data collection and analyzation with our electronic health records. Right now, we're dealing with 2 EHR systems, one that isn't even compatible with our Omnicell, in which it was purchased by past administration in order to get the Omnicell up and going. And when systems don't speak, we can't fully function with that Omnicell. So with that being said, we're paying for an EHR system that isn't even compatible with the Omni cells that we had purchased. They have purchased. Well, yeah, they have purchased, I should say.
All right, any questions for those guys? All right, Miigwech.
So are you gonna leave the resolution as is? I mean, you approved it last week. Are you all right with them moving forward?
Yeah, you okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm fine, that's
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Martha.
Okay.
Next up is Tom, Michael, and Brian.
Are you on, Tom? Did they get a copy of the agenda?
Yeah, I sent it to Mike, Tom, and Brian, but when I emailed Tom, it said that he's out of the office till the 24th. So I don't know if he still gets his emails.
Well, let's go to Ben in a minute.
This is Mike.
Oh,
Oh,
This is
okay.
Mike. Brian's supposed to be on shortly, and Tom won't be joining us.
No, we'll just update them about now.
You wanna go ahead and start? Triplet.
I was waiting for Brian, but anyway, we're continuing to press forward on the energy end of things. We've got about 5 joint venture partner projects in the works that should be able to generate fruit once we're able to get some documentation together as far as our commitment to actually form some joint ventures in the next few months. And then, to have the necessary budget to carry out some of those opportunities. We're looking forward to being able to create some jobs. Initially, there should be potential for maybe 50, 100 jobs, and depending upon how the money comes in, as far as secured projects, a lot of the funding might be able to come from the housing authority if they can get some additional funding for weatherization, for example. We've got training starting very, very soon for solar at the college, related to our real solar projects that are the groundbreakings on those are this fall yet. In fact, the stub project should be underway by the end of the month. So we're moving forward on quite a number of areas there. We need to see, what level of investment the RBC is willing to make, because we're going to have some seed capital to move forward on those.
I'm on board now, Mike.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, I can. Continue on.
Okay, well, following that same thread that Mike was describing, we have a couple of different components that moving at the same time. As it relates to last year's agenda that you approved there regarding energy independence, there's multiple modeling scenarios and pathways that has presented itself, and some of the opportunities that Mike was speaking of has to do with creating jobs. Those jobs are renewables, has to do with IT, weatherization, and construction type jobs. So the opportunities that presented itself through the joint ventures program that we're working with Small Business Administration and 8A. We have a number of priorities that we're working on. So let's start with the first priority, which was creating our own energy utility. We have a draft of that feasibility study right now, and we intend to have that completed by the end of the month. And then we'll forward that particular study to you. Within that study, it identifies a couple of components. One is the creation of the utility. Two are the projects and existing projects that we're working on, and some of the renewables that we have in place right now and maintaining those renewables. Where we're at with the utility, creation of the utility agency starts with the codes. And UMSI shared the information with me months ago. And that particular document, our tribal codes, will be completed no later than September 30th. And that provides us the language that we need, the what, whys, and hows, and what exactly it is that we're going to regulate. And so there's two moving parts, like I said, is the creation of the utility itself and the different types of utilities that exist within the reservation right now. And so we're trying to figure out what would our utility potentially look like. And so we're not the only tribe that's assessing and reviewing the creation of such, and we've been working closely with the MTIRA. And there's, I think there's 13 tribal nations that are involved in that, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. And so our priorities it's to finish up on some work, such as the utility code, to finish up on the tribal White Earth Nations utility study. And within that study, there's going to be a pro forma for the creation of the utility. And like Mike has said, you know, it's the investment and how much of that investment. I know we have the nature of the problem, and it's our cash flow. So we have to be thorough in how we're going to finance or fund different parts of our priority list. So right now we are continuing the strategic plan, and part of that strategic framework consists of assessment, addressing their capacity sufficient enough to carry out what we need to do, and then coming up with a planning analysis by which to move this forward based on the evidence that presents itself. To eliminate as much risk, by doing so, we'll eliminate as much risk possibly to the White Earth Nation regarding financials and other, and so legal. And so we're, again, there's a couple of different audits that we're conducting all at the same time.
Hello?
That cover each one of these potential opportunities that also include manufacturing. Not just the manufacturing of solar, but also the manufacturing of homes and or potentially buildings with a company based out of Washington. And so, moving forward, we're also the joint venture with our Real. We're also entertaining, if you remember, we had a meeting with Minnesota Natural Gas.
Okay.
That's another potential in reducing our energy poverty. Decent Energy that's based out of Kansas City, and they work more on the product line. So if and when we arrive at that place by which we're the upstream and downstream provider for Minnesota and Wisconsin, not just including the tribes, we're taking more of a broader and diversified approach to who we're targeting to create jobs, who we're targeting to be profitable, who we're targeting to be sustainable, and how we're going to grow and expand in this market-based economy. And so we've got a number of people that we've brought on board to help us to do this. And one agency is the three legs of academia. And so Mike mentioned that we're working close with Whitewater Community College. And so we're partnering up with the University of Minnesota through James Lamont, who we entered into agreement with some time ago to help us out with our resetting our economy. He's on board. She's the lead at the Economic Development Center in Brookston. Then we brought on Mark Curie, who's done some work for the tribe in the past regarding forensics and litigation. They were brought on board to help us with our financial statements or models or financial management plan that relates to these potential opportunities that have presented itself. So Lifley, Mark Curie is on board, and we have a list for them to do also. And part of that list is to help us with our business plan development. That also includes performance, so that it's thorough and that we meet the criterion of SBA 8A certification. The 8A certification is a critical part of our success because it'll give us the advantage. And we'll have the advantage on other companies who don't have that kind of certification. That certification itself will take 4 to 6 months. So we plan on having the business plan done before then. There's 2 programs that's part of that SBA 8A. One is called Joint Venture Program, and the other one's called Protege Program. What those 2 programs do for us is it helps us to establish our past performance by partnering up with a company or companies who are already successful. And so there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for us in Whitewater, and on the short goal side of things, we're looking to create about 20 jobs right now. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but to build our workforce sufficient enough to be able to carry out what we need to do within this industry of going green, we have to train them and provide them an opportunity to learn, and that's where Whitewater Community College comes in. The local school districts will have a role to play in that, and so the University of Minnesota Crookston as well. And so the Whitewater Community College is looking to get into providing trade programs, whether it's the renewables that we're talking about, the solar, the IT, and I think we have a number of skilled people right now that probably have been laid off. So Nicole is involved in this this assessment and this strategic framework. We're bringing Scott Olmert, getting him involved. We had a discussion last Thursday in a meeting with Scott and COA, and they too will provide us additional information that we need to move this forward in a meaningful and useful way. So on top of that, we have one of the things is we're targeting housing. And housing, one of the first things that we have to do with them is to address the thermal envelope that's around those houses. And so we too will need to reach out to the housing authority and work with them in addressing what we need to do in terms of addressing the thermal envelope, the weatherization component of it all. We need to do that before we're eligible for other funding that is relates to the Department of Energy. And White Earth Enterprises, the management. My understanding is Drew is conducting, trying to ascertain what the going concern is with the existing enterprises. That's my understanding, but I'll have to reach out and make sure that we're not duplicating services, because we had on our list for Lifley to run those audits on those enterprises so we can figure out the nature of the problem, so we can come up with a remedy as it relates to sustainability and profitability, and maintain the existing jobs and grow jobs if we can. So, and another part of that is training, providing training to the Economic Development Board. That's the name. I know Alan Paulson's on there, Emily Nett's on there, there's a couple others. But Alan requested that we come up with a training format to bring them up to speed, to help them with their roles and responsibility as board members. And so we've been working on that. That request was made last week. And on top of that, I don't know much about the hemp program. Maybe Mike, you can report on that.
I'm not much more familiar with that either. I don't know what damage may have occurred with the storms late last week, and the status on the grow. Our people that are out there in the field haven't, Richard Tallbear, I believe, was going to be on site last week, this week, so I haven't got a report back from him as far as any damage.
Okay.
All right, thanks,
I just
guys.
want to,
And, oh, you guys.
is there any questions? Any questions?
Good.
Okay, Miigwech, how could you go, Miigwech? We managed to go.
Mr. Chair, it's Alan.
Okay.
Oh. Hey, I just wanted to have those guys follow up with Al Paulson. He's on that board there, and I would like them to contact Al Paulson today, this week, start working with them, because he is on that board, and he wants to make sure that this construction and energy stuff is up and running. And so whenever you guys are doing something, you need to keep the board involved, especially if it involves them. So give them a call today, Alton Paulson. And then the other thing, you guys are going to be starting construction over there. So when are you guys going to have a proposal on you're going to start a construction? You're going to get a consultant to put that together? How are you guys going to do that?
Well, we have a number of consultants already with Ripley and Saman, John Bond, and then with Mike and I's collective experience. I think, you know, in addition to that, there's this other individual that we've been working on, and he's a corporate attorney. He's been providing us technical support for at least 6 months. His name is Barry Dicker. And
Yeah,
so,
the problem,
creation of the,
a year ago, we asked this team to put together, some proposals on what it would take to start a construction company. And so, we're looking at, a year later now. And so I know the chairman wants to get this, clinic built up in Nadawash there. And, I want to make sure that those dollars are going to be recycled back to the reservation and that they're not going to leave the reservation. And then there's a number of other capital improvement projects that are being proposed. They're going to actually be sitting on the table on Monday from now, for us to take a look at. And so if we're going to green light these, tens of millions of dollars and we don't even have a construction company to get this work going, then, we're going to find ourselves in a jam. I would like to try to avoid that if possible. And so, if you guys need it, I don't know if you guys have the team that can start a company or what your guys' plans are, but it'd be nice to have something in front of us to take a look at.
You'll have something in front of you. That's a guarantee. And so with what we have been doing over the past year is we're trying to solve this commercialization process. There's a timeline that's attached to it. And within that timeline, in this discipline of business creation, we're well within that timeline. Matter of fact, we're ahead. And so there is a proposal, there is a draft to create that construction company that I delivered last week. Now that's just a proposal, but we're building on the creation of that business plan right now and that company all at the same time. We're not going to wait for 8A certification to create that company.
Well, I looked at the proposal, Brian, and I don't like owning only 51% of it and 49% of it going to a non-tribal. Now I can see that as a project under a company, as a project under a construction company, but I don't like the idea of the tribe only owning 51% of the company. I'd like to own all 100% of the company. And if there's a proposal that says, well, we can do energy with these other people, well, yeah, that might be for that specific project, but to have somebody else own 49% of a company, I don't like that idea.
Well, it's part of a process, and you brought it up yourself about past performance. And there's more than one company that has a past performance and has demonstrated past performance. You don't have that past performance, and so we also had that discussion with Minnesota Natural Gas, and as we had our discussion with them, we did talk about, you know what, guys, we're going to get engaged, we're going to get married, and then we're going to get divorced. So the whole idea is not to have this kind of 51-49% relationship forever. And that the devil with the details will be in the buy and sell agreement. So I understand your concern in not wanting to do that. That's not what I want to do. But we have to have a starting point someplace. So let's start there, and then through the business plan, we'll lay out where there's gonna be an exit date for whoever we do business with. And so I understand what you're saying. I do. I get it. So that's my response to that. And it has to do with that 8A certification. That's a huge deal. And right now we're working on $1 million project for 5A by the start of next construction year. I know $1 million isn't a whole lot of money, but if we have 13 tribes and we have 13 projects going on all at the same time, I think that's progress.
Right. Mr. Chair, also, since we got Brian on the phone, I know he had submitted a proposal that he wanted us to take a look at, if permitted, Mr. Chair. If you could just take a few minutes and kind of explain that. That gaming thing you had, Brian?
Well, here's an opportunity, and in our discussion and following that same thread of Scott Olmert last, we have to look for other ways of generating revenue. And so I thought maybe, you know, that you could at least take the time to consider charitable gaming as it relates to the COVID response in gaming. In the next 5 years, online gaming is going to be about $100 billion industry, and that's where things are trending and moving towards. So within what you have in front of you is an opportunity to enter into an affiliate program in Class 1 gaming. There's no financial risk to Whiter to enter into that affiliate program. Just based on the readership on the website, through the casino's website, at 0.001, we could generate $3.8 million without any financial hardship whatsoever. Also in that proposal is a timeline, how things will roll out. And what I suggested to this particular group is that pull together a risk assessment for Whiter RBC to consider. And let's have that conversation with RBC. And not to commit to anything, but let's just have the conversation. And what we're looking at in the state of Minnesota alone is $1.1 billion at 0.001 of daily average usage. People who would play online, that doesn't take away from the brick and mortar. If they wanted to play, they have to show up at the casino and they have to deposit their money, so we don't have to worry about the wire app. And to redeem their money, they'd have to show up at the casino to redeem their money. And so it's just asking, you know, it's a starting point. It's a pre-contemplation thing. Just asking you to consider it. And when the white paper is done in a couple of weeks, go forward the white paper. And then if you're willing to match up with indigenous peoples on the other side of the planet, let's just have that conversation. And there's no risk to it. So if it's true and if it's right, then maybe you'll do it. I don't know, but it's an opportunity. And that's just what it is right now. There's no commitment. There's no risk. It's just asking you to consider it based on what we all experienced, all this crazy pandemic. It's changing everything.
Was this the same proposal that the Gaming Commission had considered, or is it a different one?
It's not different. The COVID thing is, you guys all know just as well as I do, if not better, the impact of this whole COVID thing has on our economy. And building on that thread that Scott talked about yesterday or last Thursday, we've got to figure out how we're going to generate discretionary revenue, continue to do what we do. We've got to figure it out. It's a yes, what if proposition, not a no because, but just yes, what if. Let's just explore it. Let's consider it.
I asked Christy Haverkamp, the compliance director, take a look at it, and so she's taking a look at it right now, and she's saying that it's her initial thoughts are that it's not. I'm not a gaming guy, but she's saying this would not be social gaming as the proposal is presented. She's saying that it would be it would need to be regulated. It would need to be looked into because the way it's presented, it's was this Class 1 gaming? Is that what you're talking about?
But in the intellectual property, Alan, that's where the social component lies. And so she's spot on about that. That kind of detail isn't spelled out in that proposal. That's just some of the additional you need to talk about. That's part of the risk assessment. So she's absolutely correct on that. So the thing is in the intellectual property, my understanding is that players will play against one another. And so
I've seen on the proposal that there's more than one tribe listed. So is this a business strategy from this company overseas? Are they a registered vendor with the tribe?
Yes, they're registered vendor in all the tribes right now as it exists. His name is Andrew Cardinal. One of the lead technical analytical peoples in gaming globally. So his credentials are impeccable. But again, they're doing their own environmental scan over the whole United States. Let's just say at some point, just say this is just wildly successful. Fighters will have the opportunity. They'll have the opportunity to enter into a joint venture with them. Tap into the whole market of the United States, tribal market. So when we have a chance,
are they making a pitch to Whiter?
What's that?
Are they making a business pitch to us then? Is that what's going on?
Well, that's the idea, is that we would have a piece of the global market.
Yeah, but are they going to send representatives out to give us a presentation, or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I'm not the expert. I'm just a measly messenger that wants, just like all the rest of you, I want to make sure we do what is right and what is the truth and love of our people. I don't think any one of us disagree with it. As long as this is all vetted out, as long as this legal part of it is in place, the analysis is concrete, where the planning part of this is concrete, and where the financial side of this thing is concrete. This is a game changer in gaming. It does not take away from brick and mortar. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to take back what the tribes always had in the very beginning, which is really the authority, the jurisdiction in Class 1. It was a sleeping giant that presented itself because of this whole COVID thing.
Well, I think our legal department up at the gaming side is looking into it too, aren't they?
I would hope so. And for sure, welcome that on seat, because we got to have this regulation thing figured out. We got to have the legal analysis. It's got to be complete. It's got to be something that's what's the word that we would use? Resolute.
So these projections are White Earth in Minnesota and Bad River in Wisconsin. Is that the only two tribes then?
Well, there's a long list of all the tribes in the Midwest, and they're running that environmental scan with all the other tribes throughout the United States. And it's potentially it's a huge industry, and it'll probably save us in gaming. And again, it doesn't take away from the curtain order, because that's going to be a concern. And so the intellectual property is designed in such a way, obviously, that our investment in our brick and mortar is protected.
Well, I guess we'll have to
If they're registered, why haven't they presented this directly to the Gaming Commission?
Gaming Commission is part of the state compact, and there's no problem presenting this to the Gaming Commission, none whatsoever. Or they'll be more than happy and willing to do that. So if that's the pathway that to follow so that we can take care of our people, let's follow that path.
Is there a reason, what is the, because I know when you were talking about it with me, what's the, you're saying that this proposal doesn't need to go through the gaming commission? That it can come directly to the tribal council?
I think what I'm trying to say is this. We have to reach out to all the representation, and we have to be willing to communicate what we believe in. And so for years, over 25 plus years, the Gaming Commission has been the regulator for White Earth. So it only makes sense to reach out to the Gaming Commission and have a conversation. It only makes sense to reach out to Christie like you did. It makes a lot of sense. It only makes sense to reach out to the management. It only makes sense because everybody has a certain experience and everyone has a certain discipline that they bring. And I think with that kind of approach and figuring out ways of sharing resources or information, networking is certainly one of them. We just might coordinate something that would benefit our people. And so we're looking at not only bettering our agency called game, but we're also looking at empowering people that we serve or continue to empower the people to serve that the casino has been doing for years. The casino is having a hard time right now. All casinos are having a hard time. So we have to look a little bit out of the box.
So are you recommending that this goes through the gaming commission then?
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, it only makes sense to reach out to representation.
What other tribes are taking this on?
None.
So there's nobody out there we can reach out to do a little research on.
Yeah, let's say this, Umsey. They want to, but I would rather us be the first. And so let's us consider it first before we give them the damn opportunity, because that's where they're going right now. And I'm saying, hey,
what other tribes? Excuse me. What other tribes have been approached with this proposal? Any other tribes that you know of?
It's Forest County and Ho-Chunk. I'm asking him to put on the brakes of that until we get a chance to consider it. And he agreed, following customary law, not written law, just customary law. What is right? What is the truth? The love of our people. And so that's where it's at. And so we'll have the opportunity to not only be part of the affiliate program, but we will have the opportunity to be able to tap into every revenue stream in PGA.
Well, I'd like to know some thoughts on some of these other tribes that have been approached with this, see what their thoughts are on this also.
Yeah, absolutely, Upsy. I had the CEO of Quincy contact me. And I just told him that I couldn't share any of this intellectual property or this idea with them until this has been fully vetted by White Earth Nation.
Who's contacting them?
Chief Executive Officer of Great Lakes Tribal Council.
Oh, okay.
So what happened there with that, guys, is I received a phone call from him last week as it relates to a potential collaboration between Quincy and us. And collaboration has to do with epidemiologists and the sharing of the epidemiologists with White Earth, including the Down Cities area, Twin Cities area. So So I have, I've been talking with Martha, Clinton, Danny, and a couple of epidemiologists that are based out of Lac Flambeau, along with their chief executive officer. And I forward information to Martha, Clinton, Donnie, to just to consider it. So they're willing to provide services and help us to generate data that we badly need to get funding for other things, whether it's behavioral health or addictions or poverty or what have you. And so I think it's
I like those ideas, Brian, but could you clarify the connection between gaming and epidemiology?
Because they are looking at doing the things that we're doing in terms of diversifying. So they're not focused on just one area. They're also focused on resetting their economy in the state of Wisconsin, just like we're taking the lead for the state of Minnesota. So not only are we going to reset our economy in Whiter, but we're also providing leadership to the rest of the state. And that's what they're interested in.
Yeah, but I don't understand the connection between epidemiology and gaming.
Kathy asked a question about how it came about. So we had a conversation about epidemiology. Then that discussion went further on how we can further collaborate on other types of things. So they're faced with the same challenges that we're faced with. That's how that all tied in now. So it just didn't go there. It went into other areas. If they're willing to share their resources with us on the epidemiology, oftentimes, reciprocity is a good thing. I don't know what we can share with them other than providing them office space down in the cities or potentially up in White that relates to the epidemiologists. Because they have an epicenter. And I think we should benefit from that science and that research and that data.
Quick question for you. Who's the business representative for the New Zealand group that has approached these other tribes?
His name is Mark Strong. And the other person is Andrew Cardinal.
So this Mark is the exact person that has approached these other tribes. He's done this on his own.
He's been in gaming industry for 20 plus years.
Yeah, but is he the business representative that has been approaching these other tribes?
Yes, he's the guy that approached the other tribes.
Okay. Is there a reason why he didn't approach Whiter directly?
He did. Early on, he did.
But when did he approach us?
Over a year ago.
And what was his proposal?
The proposal was modified because of the COVID thing. He was proposing class 3, class 2, but class 1. It's a total different entry point.
All right, guys.
So, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move forward here, guys. Brian, get us more information. I guess if council wants more information, just email Liz. I guess all the information you have on this. So, be good.
Well, I'll do that, Chairman.
You want to take a break?
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll take a 10-minute break. So, be good.
Cool.
No, I think you end it, but then you go
Yeah,
a little part 2
Then
when
you'll
you
do
go
part
back
2
on again.
when it gets back on.